House Resolution 4669, clerk will read.
Whereas Representative Laurie Dolan was elected to the House of Representatives in 2016 to represent the 22nd Legislative District and has served the people of Washington with grace and fortitude. And whereas prior to being elected to office, she served as a longtime educator and leader in Spokane Public Schools and as the policy director for former Washington State Governor Chris Gregoire. And whereas her years of service as an educator and dedication to public education led her to sponsor enrollment stabilization during the COVID-19 pandemic to ensure our schools remained funded at pre-pandemic enrollment levels. And whereas Representative Dolan worked closely with the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction and the League of Women Voters to add civics education as a mandatory high school graduation requirement. And whereas she established regional school safety centers across the state in all 9 educational service districts, staffed by experts to train school staff with the tools needed to recognize when a student may be a danger to him or herself or to others and ensure they receive the help needed. And whereas she led efforts to train our school resource officers to improve their skill set and understanding of working with diverse student populations. And whereas, as a 2-time cancer survivor and while currently fighting multiple myeloma, Representative Dolan pushed for changes in our healthcare system and voted for the expansion of affordable, accessible health care for all Washingtonians. And whereas Representative Dolan is known and valued by her legislative colleagues for her hard work, commitment, and service-minded leadership for the people of the 22nd District and Washington State. And whereas she worked tirelessly for our students, our hardworking state employees, and for improvements to K-12 education in Washington. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the House of Representatives acknowledge Representative Laurie Dolan's service to this institution and to our democracy.
Thank you. Remarks. The good member from the 22nd District, Representative Bateman.
Representative Dolan, I have only been able to serve with you for a short while, but in that time you have exemplified what it means to be a dedicated public servant. But it's not only in this body that you have served, it was also during your 30-year career with the Spokane Public Schools, working as a teacher directly with students, on collective bargaining teams, in management, and then as the director of policy in Governor Gregoire's office. And finally, you capped off that career by serving your constituents in the 22nd Legislative District. In the time that I've been able to work with you, I've witnessed your kindness, your humor, and your grace. And I have been inspired by your passion and your perseverance and absolute grit. You have been an incredible advocate for the K-12 education system, working diligently to improve the lives of students, their families, and teachers. Like all public servants, it is not only you who has sacrificed. I am very thankful to your family for supporting you and sharing you with us for all these years, and your loving husband, Art. While I am sad to see you go, I am sincerely happy that you will be able to spend more precious time with them. You have left an indelible mark on our state, our education system, the 22nd Legislative District, and all of the members here in this body that have been fortunate enough to serve with you. We owe you a debt of gratitude for your service. Thank you.
Further remarks, the good member from the 17th District, Representative Harris.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've had the opportunity of working with, can I say Laurie Dolan? Did I get in trouble for that, Speaker?
Please proceed.
God bless you, Laurie. So anyway, Laurie and I had served on the Education Committee together. I was the lowly ranking member on that committee for a while and got to work with Laurie. And as you read off her bio, I understand why Laurie and I get along so well. Laurie and I are both cancer survivors. Laurie asked me this year to help her with a bill. I think she would have got it over the line definitely without Representative Harris, but I appreciated her reaching out with UW and Fred Hutch. And like everything Laurie does, Representative Harris kind of leaves some things unmarked at times and not probably the best in every little detail. But Laurie was there on every detail, making sure I did what I was supposed to do, kept me in task, and did a great job of following through the bill, and the bill, of course, passed. A special treat that Laurie did for me, actually, and I think, once again, I think sometimes when people ask you to do things, you get more than. But Laurie reached out one day, and her husband, Art, was doing something, had formed a chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution. Who would think of that, huh? And Art reached out, and I got to zoom in with these good people on a Saturday, I think it was. Anyway, it was a great time. Got to meet some great people, just good people. And we just had a great conversation. It was supposed to last 20 minutes. Of course, like usual, it goes on, and when you meet with good people, you stay on longer and you have a great time, and we met for quite a while. And it was just something that I cherished. And of course, when the event was done, a week later, I've got a coin that they sent me that was just, I thought, just so special, how nice it was. Laurie is very thoughtful, will be truly missed. I think people that have served on school boards, who have done the real hard work, realize how important it is to serve, and Laurie is one of those individuals. Laurie also, when I was on the ranking member, she also likes ice cream and brownies, which makes us, maybe that's why we have cancer, Laurie, I don't know. But another good thing that Laurie likes, and it's just, Laurie, I just truly, from someone on the other side of the aisle, you will be missed, and I so appreciated working with you these many years. Thank you.
Further remarks, the good member from the 3rd District, Representative Riccelli.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm pleased to stand up in support of this resolution. We're going to, hear a lot about what the good gentlelady has done here in Olympia, representing folks, but her roots are in Spokane, and she left a long-lasting stamp on Spokane kids through her work with our Spokane public school system. She started out her career, you might have heard a few times on the floor, Madam Speaker, we care a lot about making sure kids get access to nutrition, but just an interesting fact, she started out at school, which I believe had over 90% free and reduced lunch rate, and working with some of the kids in our most impoverished areas in Spokane, and making sure that they had an opportunity to thrive, because she knows in her heart, and she's made a career of making sure that every kid, every student that comes across her way, and we've heard some really impressive stories about how she's reached out individually on behalf of students, but can pursue their academic endeavor to the fullest. That's what this career has been about, and I thought it was important to make sure her family is rooted in Spokane. A lot of her work has been rooted in Spokane, and while she's served the people of Olympia so well, she's left a lasting impression through policy interventions across our state. But for me, most importantly, to thousands and thousands of students in Spokane whose lives were changed because of the work she's done there. And now we have students all over the state whose lives have been changed because of the work that she's done here in Olympia. So thank you, Madam Speaker.
Further remarks, the good member from the 16th District, Representative Rood.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of the resolution. It's sad in a way, but also excited for the next chapter in Representative Dolan's life outside of these walls. I've had the opportunity to serve on the Education Committee for the last 4 years, and Representative Dolan has been on that committee when I got here. And I know that, I think it's evident to all of us where her heart is. And kids, students come number one. And I really admired that about her. I know that she and I have had the opportunity to work on the school choice issue, which I know is can be controversial, but I think it's a really good indication of what Representative Dolan's priorities are, and that is to make sure that each kid has an equitable opportunity to a high-quality education. Also, I think it's important to mention that Representative Dolan has organized gift cards for staff ever since I've been here, and I think that's another indication of how she prioritizes others, and so I appreciate that. I just want to wish her all the best. Thank you.
Further remarks, the good member from the 49th District, Representative Stonier.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Permission to refer to the good lady by name.
Please proceed.
Laurie, you and I have called each other to laugh about things, cry about things, swear about things at early morning and late hours over the last 6 years. And I think that you've just heard so many remarks already on the floor with the impression that you've left because of your love for kids. But I want to thank you for the love and the confidence you instill in the adults in the education system. I think that's one thing that we forget oftentimes. You've said it before, the kids are cuter, so they get a lot more attention. But the hard work of educators doesn't happen, and school board directors can't do their work if there aren't people around them instilling that same confidence and providing that same encouragement that you have provided. You have a really cute husband, you keep telling me that. You're gonna get to spend some time with him. And pretty soon you may have grandbabies to run around and play with, more grandbabies, not just that cute little guy. And we're all very excited for that, for you. And we know that this was your bonus round, right? You've said that. And we will benefit from the time you've spent in your bonus round supporting the work of this legislature. Laurie, every kid deserves to have somebody like you. When other people around them and systems around them don't see them for their talents, you see every kid for their gifts and their talents and their passions and their perseverance. Every kid should get to have somebody like you at some point in their life say to them what you've said to me. You said to me, you are exactly the right amount of everything. You've said to me, you are doing exactly the right work you're doing today. You've said, doesn't always feel comfortable, but you are doing more than you think you are. Every kid deserves to have somebody say that to them at a time when they really need to hear it. And because you spent your bonus round here, there are legislators in Washington state that will take that forward to benefit every kid. They may not get to hear those words, but the system will be better because the people are better because of your bonus round. You just said to me a few minutes ago, this is so weird. And I don't know how many times we've talked about how weird this job is. Figuring out how to do it well is usually done much quicker by people who do not lose their guiding light. And yours has always been children. So I thank you for your bonus round. I thank you for keeping kids front and center. I thank you for your friendship. And I think as a body, in support of this resolution, we'll thank you for your love.
Representative Dolan, Laurie, what a great name. Great spelling, spelled the right way also, I would just note. You and I have known each other for 20-ish years now. Both of us working in the executive branch when we met, me working for the Department of Health, trying to regulate and get through some very challenging times in the regulation of the healthcare industry, and you being the policy director for Governor Gregoire. Even then, I remember you as an incredibly kind of calming influence and an influence that brought perspective to an incredibly stressful amount of work that we were trying to do. And you did it, you did it, and you frequently do it, and this is a way that I've learned from you to operate. You have, as we've heard, worked in Spokane, worked in the education system as a teacher, as an administrator, and then go into the policy world, and then come here. And you tend to share stories with people, and those stories contain a lesson in them for people. And that's one of the ways that you teach and support all of us. And the heck with what Rep. Stonier said, that every child should have someone like you in their life. Every single person should have someone like you in their life, because you find ways to support people, whether they're a 6-year-old or a 60-year-old or older, or as I said earlier, a 60 or 70-year-old who acts like a 6-year-old. You find ways to support at all times. And sometimes it's sharing in the frustration that someone is feeling, and other times it's taking them out of their frustration to get a perspective that they are moving forward. And you do that for young people, and you do it for middle-aged people, I'll say. And I think that's always been one of your incredible strengths here. You know, when we talk about kids, your commitment to every single kid, I know others have mentioned it, but it's quite amazing, because you're able to take the circumstance of a single kid and you believe that it is worthy to create policy because there are other kids like that you have never met or never heard about it. But you believe it's important to address that kid's needs because you know that there are others out there. And sometimes policy wonks like me or others say, well, this is just one. We don't create a whole policy for this. You say, no. Yes, we do, because there are others that we haven't heard of. The other thing I would just say is you are the most, I can't say subtle, but you're just the most interesting lobbyist about your bills. Because the number of texts that I've received from you over the time that I've been speaker saying, not quite sure what's going on, how Bill XXX got lost in the kerfuffle or something. What's happening there? That's Laurie Dolan's way of saying, why aren't you moving this bill that I'm writing you about, and you better do it now before I turn the faucets on. So it's, I like your style of lobbying for bills. It's always, and it's always actually been fairly effective for you too. It is hard. It is hard to see you go, but it's hard to not, under this mask, be smiling so broadly for you and for Art. And I would just note for the body that Rep. Dolan's husband, Art, is up in the gallery filming right now. It's hard for me not to be just incredibly happy for you. As Rep. Stonier mentioned, you have characterized the time you've spent here in the House as how you've used some of your bonus years, that you never thought you would be here. You never thought you would survive to be here. And I can say, I think on behalf of the body, myself and the whole body, that we feel so lucky that you decided to spend some of your bonus years here. And we, I think, are so happy for you that you intend to spend the rest of your bonus years with your family, hopefully having more grandchildren and traveling, and all sorts of things like that. You've marked your time very well, and we know that you will continue to mark your time very well. With the consent of the House, House Resolution 4669 is adopted, hearing no objections, so ordered. Would the body please rise and join me in thanking the service of Laurie Dolan. The House will be at ease for a moment. The House is at ease.